Right, welcome back to another YouTube video. It is Monday, the 14th of July. Last YouTube video was actually shot on Saturday, so we're backing it up with a quick one today. But I know why you've probably tapped on this video, and that is because, yes, I am going to Bali today. So a bit of an exciting one. We're going to have a little bit of a travel vlog. So I'm going to take you guys through the meals I've got packed, how I prepare for a flight. It is a later one as well, so that definitely changes what my day actually looks like. As far as the whole moving to Bali thing, I think I'll address that a little bit later in the video, because right now I'm just want to give you an update on what the days look like leading up to the flight. And then I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips for yourselves to use if you are having to travel, and how you can stay on track and still bring your meals on the plane. Because yes, guys, you can bring food on a plane. I cannot tell you how many times people have messaged me surprised that I can bring food on an airplane. Like, it's not a big deal. You absolutely can. Anyway, so before we get stuck into why I'm going to Bali and for how long, I'll take you through today. So the flight is at 6:30 p.m. So a little bit of a later one. I'm not going to land in Bali until 10:30 p.m. And if you guys know me, you know my bedtime is normally 9 o'clock. So it definitely changes what my day looks like. I've even had to adjust my diet plan to make sure I can stay on track today. But essentially what I've done is I did stay up a little bit later last night so I could sleep in today. And I actually did manage to get a bit of a sleep in. Ended up waking up at 6 a.m., which is unreal. Reason being is I wanted to push all my food back to later in the day, knowing that I was going to be up quite late tonight, because it's not looking like I'm going to get to the villa, if I'm lucky, till about 12 a.m. And naturally, I don't want my last meal to be at 8 p.m. and then I just can't eat anything until I go to bed. It'll just make going to sleep really challenging. So I pushed my first meal back till about 9:30. Now, with regards to what those meals look like, now you guys would be familiar with my full day of eating. Food's relatively pretty much the exact same since then, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, no egg whites and eggs just yet. That's my next meal, which I'm going to make as soon as I finish recording this clip, and I'm very excited for it. But meal number one was no carb. I had that at 9:30. It was literally just 100 grams of coleslaw, 100 grams of cucumber, and then 125 grams of chicken breast. And I had that one a little bit later, like I said, I think it was about 9:30. And then my second meal, I still did the normal cream of rice. Today is a rest day, so it is rest day food. So that was at 12:30, and it's now just about to go on 3 o'clock, where I'll have my eggs, egg whites, a couple of English muffins, before we then head off to the airport. We're leaving about 3:45 here, get to the airport for 4:30, and then get there 2 hours before so I can check in, get my bag sorted, get situated, and prepare for the flight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you into the kitchen, and I'm going to show you the meals I have prepped for travel. I'm bringing 3 meals, and I'll give you a little bit of a tip on how you want to be bringing those meals so they can stay fresh whilst you are in the sky. So in the next clip, we'll be in the kitchen, and I'll take you through what I've prepped for the flights. Okay, so I've got all of my meals out here ready to show you. So this is what I'm going to bring on the flight. Each meal will be consumed. I've got the time roughly when I want to get them in. So it should take me right through to when I land in Bali. I've actually got one ready to have when I land, which hopefully should tide me over until I get my bags and then get the taxi out to Canggu, which is about a 30 to 40 minute drive from the airport. Granted, traffic shouldn't be that bad because I am getting in so late, which is good. I'm glad about that. So essentially what I've got here is I've got 3 meals. Let me just get this right. So I've got 3 meals here. This one is 120 grams of raw weight jasmine rice, 100 grams of coleslaw, and then 125 grams of chicken. Now, to keep this one cold, what I also am going to put in it is going to be 100 grams of frozen pineapple. So that should help keep it cold, and it will defrost, and all the juices will probably go through the rice. Will taste pretty good. I'm pretty keen for it. So I'll be having that on the flight a little bit later. I think I'll have that one at about 9:30 p.m. The first meal I have here is my normal potatoes and mince. I've got 400 grams of raw weight potato, 150 grams of extra lean beef mince, and then 150 grams of veg. With 25 ml of sugar-free barbecue sauce. So this one likely won't stay as cold as the frozen pineapple chicken and rice will. So I have this either when I get to the airport or pretty much as soon as I get on the flight at about 7 p.m. And then lastly, guys, we have got Brandon Harding. I don't know if you're familiar with who that is, but this is what he calls his pro card cookie. So the reason I've done a pro card cookie, so it's essentially oats, right? Now, airports are funny. Sometimes I don't like people bringing liquids on planes, and I've had instances where I'll bring cream of rice or I'll bring oats, and yeah, it's a solid and it's food, but they'll look at it like that's liquid and they'll confiscate it, which is not what we want in prep. So just to be safe, I've essentially turned my oats meal, because obviously I've modified my diet, into a cookie. So essentially how I've done that is I just like mixed oats in a bowl with smashed banana, a bit of whey protein, some baking soda, what else did I put in it? And some natural peanut butter and a bit of cinnamon. And then you add a little bit of water and make it into like a thick paste. And then I spread it out over the air fryer and then baked it in the air fryer. So that's essentially how I've made this cookie. It looks pretty dry, but I'm not gonna lie, by the time I sit down to eat it, I'm probably gonna be starving. It's probably gonna taste amazing. So that's what I'm gonna have a little bit later. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me to stay on track here, all right? So I don't know about this consistency. It feels like a little bit doughy, but I have been told that they are a little bit dry. Anyway, I'll probably record myself eating this, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But one other tip for you. So how am I going to keep all these meals cold? Yes, I know I've got the frozen pineapple in the chicken and rice. That will help. But what about the other two? So obviously I'm going to put it in like a little bit of a cooler bag, and I'll have that in my duffel bag that I'm going to bring on the flight. And then, like I said earlier, airports are funny about liquids. So sometimes you'll bring on an ice block and they'll actually confiscate that as well, because when those like frozen lunch bag ice blocks defrost, there's obviously liquid in there. So to get around that, what you do is you can just go and get yourself some frozen veggies. So I've got frozen carrot buttons, okay? So even when they defrost, they will still be solid, so they can't confiscate it. So I've got a couple bags of those. I'll line the bottom of the cooler bag with them, and then that way it will keep my food cold and there's no chance of any of the airport security confiscating my ice blocks. So a little bit of a tip for you guys there. So you have no excuse not to stay on track, even if you are traveling. And obviously for me, it is of the utmost importance, being that I am in competition prep. So I'll probably catch you guys at the airport, I would say, and give you an update. Basically how I want to sort of structure this video so you know what to look for. I'll probably film some clips at the airport. I won't film on the flight just because they'll be too loud. You won't be able to hear anything. So I won't be able to film one of those meals, I assume. I might get a clip of it on my phone or something and just throw it in the video. And then I'll probably hit a update clip when I land, if I have to wait for my bags a while, because Bali is notorious for having to wait ages for your bags. And then I definitely want to take you guys through a villa tour in this video as well. And that will be at the end. And then I'll also include a little bit of a clip on why I'm going to Bali. How long am I in Bali for? So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm really excited about it. I feel very exhausted and a little bit foggy right now because I haven't eaten a lot of food. So I'm going to leave this clip here. I'm going to get these egg whites and eggs in, and then we got to get to the airport. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to get one more clip in the car on the way because Samantha is driving me, and we'll get her thoughts and opinions on me leaving her, perhaps. We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. All right, quick update. So we have made it through customs. I'm just sat here waiting at the gate for the flight. And let me tell you guys, Perth Airport is atrocious. There's all this construction going on right now. It is actually chaos here. There's nowhere to sit. There's just tiny little walkways that you can't get past. People backed up everywhere. It is very, very bad. God, Perth is shocking. We're only just getting a train station at our airport is just crazy to me. Anyway, so I'm not getting on the flight for like another 40 minutes, 30 minutes. It'll probably start boarding in the next 15 to 20, hopefully. Like I said, it is chaos here, so I'm not going to be surprised if things are running behind, but that is why it pays to be prepared. So I'm actually going to get my first meal in here now before I get on the flight, just because I have a bit of a feeling it's going to be a bit chaotic. And I've got a few extra meals that I do have to get in anyway, so timing wise it should work out fine. And I'm starting to get pretty hungry. So we're going to get the mince and rice in first, which I will show you guys right here. All right, so we've got mince and, not mince and rice, mince and potato, all ready to go. Barbecue sauce on that bad boy. Looking very, very, very good indeed. I don't actually mind this cold, you know. A lot of people are so like scared of having cold food or just fussy about it. I got over that pretty quickly during my first start, because when you're hungry, everything tastes amazing. So I'm gonna get this one in and wait patiently for my flight to board. As far as what I'm gonna do on the plane, it's about 3 hours and 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 45 minutes. I'm probably going to play a lot of Nintendo Switch, to be honest with you, just to keep myself awake. I had a coffee at 4 p.m, which is late. A large long black too. 3 shots of coffee at 4 p.m. Who am I? So that's got me feeling pretty good. That should get me right through to when we land. And I've actually brought a couple of my stronger sleeping pills here to put me to sleep when I do get over to Bali. So things are going well so far. Also, one of the things as well, guys, all the food made it through customs, buzzing. I even managed to smuggle in some syrup. I know you're not meant to bring liquids. It's in like a little unmarked canister. I wonder if I could actually find it here. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. So I managed to smuggle in a little bit of syrup, okay, for that Pro Card cookie, whatever Brandon Harding calls it, because apparently it's pretty dry. So I thought I'd bring a bit of sugar-free syrup just to moisten her up a little bit, make it a little bit easy to get down the old gullet there. So very happy that everything got through. Always a little bit nervous. I even managed to sneak on 2 carry-on bags that they definitely weigh a little bit more than 7 kilos. I don't want to say that too loud because they might pick me up, but yeah, we're all good, smooth sailing so far. Just got to make it to Bali and then to the villa, and then I can relax, because I'm not gonna lie, traveling when you're prepping, kind of stressful, man, especially considering this is the first time I've ever had to do it. So I'm gonna get this meal in quickly because things are quietening down and I want to make sure I get this in before we get this flight. So I'll probably catch up with you guys when I'm in Bali. Touchdown. We are in Bali. It is 11 p.m. at night. Flight went very, very smoothly. Managed to get all of my food on the plane. I've even got my oat cookie still to eat, so I'm going to get that one in when I find my taxi driver. Now, if any of you have been to Bali before, you know this next bit can be quite challenging, and that is finding a driver. So as you can see here, when I flip this camera around, these are all drivers, so we're going to try to spot the bro who's going to be taking me out to Canggu and getting me to my villa. Where is he at? Tyler. I don't know, guys, I can't see him.
Do you want me to just message? I can look for him.
We're going to chuck him down. I'll check back once I find him, so I actually need to focus here. Alright, guys, I've managed to locate my man. What was your name again, bro?
My name's Dottie.
Dottie has picked me up. He's rescued me. It was a bit of a challenge to find Dottie.
Yeah.
He was hiding out of the Circle K.
Yeah.
But he tracked me down nonetheless. So we're in the taxi now. We're heading out to Canggu. How long do you think the drive's going to be, Dottie?
In the late night like this, maybe just 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
So not too bad. Traffic won't be too bad. Okay, awesome. So basically, guys, we're going to get stuck into the oat cookie here. The lighting is absolutely terrible, but I'm actually pretty keen for this. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a try on camera here and let you guys know what I think. It feels still like quite moist, to be fair. I thought it was going to go really dry, but let's give it a go. Okay. It's kind of like bread, to be honest. It's pretty good. A little bit dry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it in that sugar-free syrup that I managed to smuggle onto the plane. And I'm probably just going to eat it with a spoon. But I'll probably check in with you guys maybe at the villa. I kind of need to go to sleep, but I'll check back definitely in the morning. We'll go for a bit of a villa tour, show you guys what the crib looks like for the foreseeable future, and then we'll give you an update on how long I'm here for and all the X's and O's and whatnot. So look forward to that, guys, but right now I gotta get to the villa safely. My man Dottie is taking care of me. Good morning. It is the next day and we are safely in our villa. I got home, I was so tired, I just wanted to get my bags unpacked and get to bed. So got to sleep at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, definitely not terrible. I didn't set an alarm actually for the first time ever because I just wanted to let my body sleep and wake up when I wanted to naturally wake up, and I got up at about 7 a.m, which is good. So about 6 hours of sleep last night and I'm feeling fresh. Obviously I'm riding a bit of a high right now, being excited and obviously feeling less stressed now that travel's out of the way, all the meals are in and we are good to go. So It's a little bit later in the morning now. It's 10:30. I've already been and gotten my first meal in. So I'm about a 3-minute walk away from Motion Fitness Foods, which is like a health cafe. And I got like my normal egg whites, eggs, some sourdough bread, and a pineapple. And then after that, I went and did a big food shop. But we'll go through the food shop and all that other good stuff in just a moment, because I promised you guys a villa tour. So we'll take you guys through the villa right now, just so you can see what the crib is going to look like for the foreseeable future. So we'll flip it around. We have got the entrance is just over here, okay? And then we come straight in and we've got our private pool, some sunbeds, and over here we've got like a outdoor shower, which is just so cool and so Bali, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still trying to suss my check-in location. We got, maybe, you might see a couple of vids over here perhaps, posing videos, we'll see, just depends on the lighting. Wrap around here, and then we get to my bedroom, so it's a 2-bedroom villa, because obviously I've got some people coming to stay with me at some point or another, so this is where none of the magic will be happening outside of sleep and rest. Bed, mirror, workspace, although I'll probably work in the living room, wardrobe, and then through here, we've got obviously the bathroom set up into the toilet and the shower. So honestly, pretty happy with this villa, guys. It's really everything I need. It's not super massive, but private pool, comfy. It's indoor as well. A lot of places in Bali, when you get villas, it's like outdoor living, and you really don't want a kitchen that is outside, just because it gets so hot in Bali. So you kind of want to have as much indoors as possible so you can stay cool. So flipping back around, so walking straight out, pool at my front door, which is cool. The second bedroom is just through here. So that one is literally the exact same as the one I just showed you. And then through here, guys, we have the kitchen. So, and the living room, I guess. Couch, TV, and then into the living space here. So this is kind of what the kitchen area is going to look like now. I've had a good morning, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit concerned with the food situation, obviously having to be in prep, and I was kind of worried that I'm going to have to spend a fortune paying for food and going to these health cafes that weigh your food out, and it's just, you just can't trust it. Like I brought my scales to the fitness cafe this morning and I weighed out my sourdough and everything like that, but there's still, even places that say they're going to give you 150 grams of rice, I don't know, I'm a little bit OCD. So I've actually gone ahead and done a food shop, and I've managed to find a rice cooker. I've got a new pan because the pans here are terrible. And I've got all my veg. I bought chicken breast. I just got to find some rice. And I've got like a few meals sorted. I've obviously got my cream of rice meal, my oats meal. So that's 2 meals I'll make at home. 2 chicken and rice meals with different vegetables. That's 4 meals. I have breakfast at Motion most mornings, I would assume, at this point in time. And then dinner I might have at like Pump Kitchens or something like that. I've got that in my plan. I've already like done my nutritional plan. I have put the Pump Kitchens meal in, but I'm just gonna have a suss at some other markets and see if I can find some cheap-ish beef. Anyway, so food shop. So it's actually pretty cheap, believe it or not. So I got the oats, obviously, for my 6th meal. So we've got like capsicums here, okay? So if you're from Perth or even Australia, capsicums are like $13 a kilo. This was $3.15 a kilo. So I've got red capsicum, and then I've got some yellow capsicum, cherry tomatoes, mushroom, new pan. The new pan was, I think that was about 30 bucks. Now this was the most expensive purchase. This is the rice cooker. I'm just praying that it's not shit, but that was $58. So yeah, kind of expensive, but it's an investment. And when I think about it, all the money I would have to spend on eating food out, like it's going to pay for itself anyway. Now I did bring some of my own rice flour from home because I've been obsessed with it. That's the one I've been having in my videos. But they also do sell another version of rice flour here, which is this Rice and Shine organic white rice flour. I've not used it before, so I'm interested to see how that goes and try it. But I picked up a couple bags of those. Of course, we got our pink salts. And then as for spices, I'm probably going to head down to a bigger market to try find some spices. I went to this place called Fantasy Market and it was really small but so good, like really cheap. If you go to the Pepitos and stuff like that, they're obviously sort of geared towards tourists, so they spike all the prices up. So I was just kind of going into all the little local spots and sussing it out, and they're all 2 minutes away from me. Everything is so close. I can walk to the gym, I can walk to the cafe, I can walk to I can walk to where I can get these, I can walk to the grocery store. So I'm in a really good spot here. I've got my moped being dropped off here in about 30 minutes, but I don't even know how much I'm going to need it, which Samantha will be very pleased to hear. But yeah, and I got some mushrooms as well. So other things to note, frozen berries. So I was very concerned because I love my frozen berries and they can be really expensive, but if you get them here from local sources, it's not too bad. So I picked up some frozen berries. They're kind of comparable to what you pay in Oz. The frozen blueberries were $11 a kilo, but then you have things like frozen strawberries, which are local. I think they get the blueberries imported from Brazil. The strawberries, however, these were $6 a kilo frozen, and the frozen raspberries as well. They also were about, I think these were $5 or $6 a kilo. So definitely quite cost effective if you're just going to the right spots. I'm obviously very pleased because I'm not going to have to spend so much money buying food. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cook, but it is what it is, it's fine. And of course we got some chicken breast. I got a kilo broken up into two 500 gram bags. And the chicken breast was $6.30 a kilo. So pretty cheap. I think back in Oz it's about $11 a kilo. So overall, a pretty good haul. I'm obviously really excited about it. So next steps here, I'm gonna get my moped dropped off. I'm gonna train at Obsidian 2 today. At 11:30. I'm not going to film any of that. I'm going to wrap this video here in just a moment. And then we'll get to like filming more later in the week. I obviously have some time here, so there'll be plenty of content to come. And then after that, I'm going to edit this video up. I'm going to post this tonight for you guys. And then, yeah, we'll get to work. I've got some actual work to do, some client check-ins, so on and so forth. So I'll knock those ones out. And then, yeah, get myself situated. So I'll see you guys in the next clip where I'll probably break down how long I'm here for. And we'll talk more about sort of why I've gone to Bali for prep. So stay tuned. Next clip coming at you. Okay. All right, so finally I get to address the camera, what you've all been waiting for. Have I moved to Bali indefinitely? And no, I haven't. That was definitely a bit of clickbait on my part. I do apologize. I am not moving to Bali indefinitely. I'm here for 3 weeks. And why? Why have you gone to Bali for 3 weeks mid-prep? You know, who does that? But it's kind of one of those things that I have always wanted to do. I've always said I've wanted to do it. It's funny, I was kind of reflecting back and it made me think. Samantha sent me a really nice message saying just, you know, how proud she is of me. Which I saved, and I thought it made me reflect a little bit because it was probably 5 years ago now. Sam and I came to Bali after my first competition, which that was about 4 or 5 years ago. So came to Bali just as like a bit of a holiday, and we loved it out here. We're training, eating good food, all that other good stuff. And I bumped into Jackson Pios just on the street, and obviously we had exchanged a few Instagram DMs here and there, so we were familiar with each other and we got chatting. And we ended up catching up for a session at the Body Factory, and this is when he had just sort of begun recovering from his first back injury before it opened up again. Anyway, that's a whole different story, but we trained together at the Body Factory, and yeah, I was like, I'm going to be honest, I was fanboying a little bit because I'd followed him for some time before that, so I was pretty excited for sure. But yeah, training with him and just having that experience and talking about him moving to Bali, it just got really windy all of a sudden. Probably didn't pick that up. Anyway, training with him and talking to him about coaching and about living in Bali and his experiences, I just felt really inspired. I distinctly remember coming home from that trip and I went over to some of my mates' house, well, one of my mates' house, sorry, and telling them all like, that's what I want to do. I want to be an online coach. I'm going to be a personal trainer, and then I'm going to be an online coach, and then I'm going to move to Bali. Anyway, 5 years later, there's definitely a few bumps along the road. which I'm sure I'll divulge in a later video, but I eventually found my way to that career, and that was not planned. And now I'm in a position where I can go to Bali for 3 weeks. I can still be financially free and have the ability to live here and work here and not have to stress about money or anything like that. I feel so incredibly grateful and blessed to be able to do that, and eternally grateful to my clients who put their trust in me as their coach, because none of this would really be a reality without them. So big thank you to them, and I really truly enjoy what I get to do now. But that's essentially why it's kind of one of those things, guys, where moving out here for 3 weeks mid-prep, 9 weeks out till 6 weeks out, crunch time in a sense, it's one of those things where if I didn't do it, I think I would live to regret it if I didn't try, So here we are, day 1 in Bali, wrapping up, and we have another 20 days to go. Today has been a hectic day, getting everything set up, food shop, buying all my cooking utensils. I literally just got back from the gym and I wanted to film this so I can edit it because I want to post this video ASAP. So it's been a hectic day. I've been run off my feet. I'm pretty exhausted, but I'm feeling really excited for the next 20 days. Really, really excited, really grateful, really blessed. And I just can't wait to see how we go over these next 20 days, and just to see the kind of work I can get done, as well as just see the kind of changes I can put in my physique here. Because don't get it twisted, guys. I'm here to work. I'm here to go to the gym, live the bodybuilding lifestyle full time, continue to create content, continue to service my clients to the best of my ability. I'm not here to eat at fancy restaurants, go to Finn's Beach Club, definitely get a few massages and a couple of pedicures, of course, but I'm here to work, and I'm really, really ecstatic about it, to be honest. So with that, I'll wrap the video here, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Be prepared for plenty of content coming your way whilst I'm staying out here in Bali. I've got a lot more time now as well, so that's exciting. So with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it, turn on post notifications, all that other good stuff, comment, and we'll catch you in the next video.